Hey, so I have spent the last few months hiding out on TikTok, making hair videos, learning how to have curls, avoiding my life, pretty much. I am at most 3 semesters away from a degree that I have busted my butt to get. Still straight A's except for that one statistics course, which was like a 89.7, and if he had done the extra credit correctly, would have been an A, but he didn't make the extra credit like 40 out of 0, which would have made an A. He made a 40-40, which I guess took points away from people who didn't earn it. I don't know. Anyway, I have a job that I like a lot. I have children that I adore. I have narcolepsy. I have usually well-mannered diabetes. Yes, it's very polite. It asks me before it gives me sugar highs and lows. Honestly, I haven't had a high in years. I do occasionally get lows, and I'm told to oh, well, track what you ate because low is probably related to that. It never turns out that way. I track it. I get no answers. I don't know. I have a house that technically belongs to my sister. I have a future ex-husband. Eventually we will make it legal, I guess. I am in no hurry to make it legal for mutual reasons, or multiple reasons. I had brain surgery quite a few years ago, and while I am a published writer, sometimes the English and the cataplexy and the brain surgery, I get this feeling inside me. It's almost like anxiety, but it's physical. It's like a buzzing, right? I try to talk and I start buzzing inside, and then my muscles stop reacting. If I'm standing, I start bending forward like I'm trying to do a toe touch. If I'm sitting, I'm usually generally okay, unless I get angry. When I get angry, I shake. Fortunately, excited, I just buzz. Talking about my narcolepsy will make me buzz, so I don't talk about it too much. They are trying different medications. I spent a couple months in a medication that made me feel like it was a constant brain fog. Fighting. I had to appeal, and I was not my best me, but I am the type who will get things done. So the doctor I had to visit, and he was like, well, what if I just try to reorder it, putting in that you did fail on this other medication? I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But it was supposed to go for another prior auth, and it didn't. So then I told the insurance company, and they called the doctor, and the doctor's office was put it in as another appeal, which was ridiculous. And then I lost my first appeal, and then I lost my second appeal, and then they went back and retroactively had the doctor talk to another doctor, a peer-to-peer review thing, and I won the first appeal, and then I failed the second appeal twice. I don't know, because I didn't even file any of these. To me, it seemed like maybe the PA wasn't listening when they told her, you need to file a second prior authorization with this information, and we'll go ahead and approve this. So from May until last month, I was fighting just to get the correct medication. This medication works a lot better when I am awake on it. I feel like someone who's been looking for an antidepressant that works their entire life and has finally got one. However, my ADHD is off the chart, and I don't know if that's the medication or the taking away of the other medication or the finally feeling awake. I don't know. I have a follow-up with my doctor in a couple days. So there's a lot going on in my life. And literally my degree is a sociology / criminology degree with a crime, law, and psychology minor, and then a psychology, crime, and youth certificate or something like that. I don't know. It's supposed to have a trauma-informed care and restorative practices certificate, but I can't take all of them at my work, and now I'm looking at a double minor because there's a child abuse minor that I have all but one course already taken. And while I want to work with adults start out as children, and adults who are abused grow up to be abused. They turn into abusers who abuse children. It's a cycle. And the school has kind of gate-kept all of the courses I want to take. I can't take the domestic assault course. I can't take the men and masculinities course. I can't take any of the ones that I want to take unless I want to drive. At least, I think the closest one is an hour and 10 minutes each way, at least twice a week. Unless I can get them summer when they do them asynchronous, and that is really hard. So, hiding from my life is kind of ridiculous, right? I went into school for this because So my husband was my best friend when I was 19. He was genuinely the first person who was nice to me, just to be nice to me, not to get anything. I spent most of my time hanging out with him when I wasn't at work. He never asked for intimacy until we got together. He didn't ask me for money. I mean, I had things that I didn't mind sharing because I had a job, but like he never asked for them, and he never would have said, "Oh, you can't hang out anymore" if I didn't have them. He was my best friend. We had everything in common. He was open-minded. He was loving. He was caring. I had a crush on him from the beginning. He could have had whatever he wanted, but he never took advantage of that. And I had just gotten out of a relationship that was really bad, like really scary. So I don't know, maybe like my perception was skewed, but it seemed to me like he was the first non-abusive, non-neglectful, non-horrible human being I'd ever known. I got pregnant very quickly after we started our relationship, and there were definitely things where like I did always question whether we would have been together long term if I hadn't, but that was at the time my insecurities. It had nothing to do with his behaviors. So I mean, we were a mess. We were partying. We were 19-year-olds with no future. We were running wild. I got pregnant. We had a child, and I wanted to stop. I wanted to stop so bad. And it took me a little over, I want to say 4 years to finally get my shit together. Like, I got my shit together. I got my kid back. We started going to college. Had an apartment. We were doing well. He came to visit. We went to the city. Everything went backwards. And then I spent another year getting my shit together, and my kid was in a safe place, and they were, I was supposed to go back to the county we were from, but the room wasn't available for me, so I went to a room up in another county, and during that time, it was like, listen, either you need to go right now and be with your child, or they're going to lose health insurance, so we want you to sign over temporary custody, which is what I did. Signed over temporary custody. It was never permanent, it was never forced, it was never mandated. The story's been altered a gazillion times, but that's what the paper says. All I had to do if I ever wanted to cancel that order was go tell the judge. I was living in the center of the city. It was not a good place. I was not ready to be on my own. I did not have anybody telling me, hey, you can do this. I had a whole lot of people telling me, hey, you can't. My ex came up to see me once during that time. Drunk. And we just stopped talking. I don't know. We didn't break up. We just stopped. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. I don't remember what I was doing. I mean, even clean, like my life was a mess. I know I went and got a tattoo, and I didn't tell him about it. So that's how close we were at that point. Not that he wasn't my best friend, but there was this very like out of sight, out of mind mentality when you're 21 and you're just getting clean, and who knows what synapses have been doing in your brain for how long. Actually, I think it was like 22 and getting clean at this point. Who cares? I was still very young. When I was 24, I got clean for the last time. We broke up right before that. I started running with somebody else. He started dating somebody else. I realized I didn't want to be what I was. I went back to rehab. I went to a halfway house, the same halfway house my mom had gone to when I was a kid. Halfway house that when I saw the first time when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, this is all, like, this is a CRACK house. I had never been in the city. I grew up on a farm. I had never seen a bunch of people living together. I was terrified. I was sheltered. I loved the crap out of my mom, but I didn't understand a lot of things. And, I was never going to be there. And getting there, walking in that door and getting there. And, like, they had some of the same, like, signs on the wall and stuff, and I was like, you did this. Like, this is what you did. This was what you chose. And I did everything I could to change my life from that day forth. And I had another child, and then somewhere in there, okay, actually it went the other way around. First, the gentleman who was the male half of the couple that I placed my child with passed away, and he was the one who had wanted her. He was the one who was taking care of her. He was the one who was providing the health insurance. My child was still female at the time. I'm not going to go into that, and if you judge it, I don't care. You're wrong, basically. You're just wrong. They passed away, and the female called me crying, sobbing, losing her mind. Please don't take your child away from me. And I was like, I am living in the middle of the city. I'm working a job that pays me $9 an hour. I mean, I'm the program coordinator, so it sounds fancy, but it pays me $9 an hour. I schedule myself full-time. That's the only reason I have full-time hours. I was living in a one-room apartment with a guy who was not very nice, because I was pregnant. I was like, don't worry. Like, it's not gonna happen. You're okay. And she called me on the daily, and I supported her, and I talked to her, and she told me what she was going through. And then the last call we had, she told me how this guy was coming out to stay with her, because she really didn't like being alone. She was meant to be part of the couple, and people were judging her, and they thought she was moving too quickly. And I was like, listen, you do you. Like, I love your nephew, and I still want to be with him, and I'm still single, except for that, like, I got into this situation where I got pregnant, but he was gone by that point. I was like, so I get, like, everybody does relationships differently. I should be focused on, like, making this one work, but this one was never going to work. It wasn't. Even if he hadn't been a bad guy, but he was. Let's be honest, he was, okay? I love my husband. I love him then. We had been engaged. I intended to marry him. When I told him forever, when he put that ring on my finger, like, I meant it. I thought he meant it. You know, we were kids, but I meant it. We never made it down the aisle, and that's great. That was probably a good thing, but it didn't change that I meant it, you know? Fast forward 10 years. Children grow up. At some point, my phone calls stopped getting answered, my visits stopped taking place. I didn't get to see my kid very much at all, and I was not happy. I got Halloween. I got asked not to come to birthday parties because it would be too confusing for their friends and neighbors, but I could see them around their birthday. I could see them Christmas morning, and I took every visit I could get. I didn't have a car. I lived over an hour away. There was no public transportation, but I did what I could. And it sounds like excuses, and it felt like excuses, and it felt like excuses to me. I don't care what anybody else thought. But it was the best I could do at the time. And I have written proof that I tried. I tried to get my phone calls through. I tried to make more meetings. Like, I messaged someone who I couldn't stand to beg them to get my phone number unblocked when it got blocked, and I never got a reply from any of them. But I still have that proof, because messages are eternal, apparently. Okay, so fast forward, I was finally going to spend time with my kid because they got a cell phone and I got a car. Excellent combination. And one day they were like, hey, so Dad saw you on a dating app, which I was like, well, I was only on one, and I only went on to delete my profile because I've been dating this other guy for like 5 years now. I figured it was probably time. And I knew that it wasn't. I think the guy was the perfect compatibility for me and had no interest in being in a relationship with anyone, not even me. Although, I bet if he saw me now, he'd be a little sorry, because a lot of that was shallow, superficial stuff. We were alone, and he loved me, we were together, and I was embarrassing. That's been a repetitive problem with my life, and I'm not sure why I pick guys to do that, but I'm going to figure it out, because the next guy I get in a relationship with is going to be proud to be with me, and I'm going to be proud to be with him, and that's all there is to it. So that's the whole point of this channel, is that I'm working on that journey, and I'm going to do it publicly, because I do everything publicly. So anyway, I started talking to my ex, and it was, I think we were on the phone for like 3 hours the first time. And then he called again that night, and we talked all day, every day. Like, he would call me at lunch, he would call me as soon as I got done work. As soon as my kid went to bed, we'd get on the phone. And on weekends, we would get our kids together, which was great, because my kid was finally seeing his sister, and, like, I was getting to meet my other kids' sisters, and raising them to a point. Like, the littlest one called me mom for years, and then shit happened. Anyway, he asked to move in at one point, and I let him, and I guess we fell into a relationship because he moved in, which I don't even know if I wanted. The other guy went back to his ex, and we stopped. I mean, we stopped talking before he went back to his ex, but whatever, that just kind of faded away too. I don't know if I wanted it. I definitely don't want it that fast. I know I had gotten over that whole let's get a relationship real fast thing. I wanted to, have my kid and have my home, and I liked my space, and I liked things my way. But I didn't want to be single. I just don't want to be single. I don't like being single. I don't like talking to myself, I'm not gonna cry. Somebody once accused me of leaking motor oil, and apparently I fixed that problem, because it does seem like I cry a lot lately. Okay, so as soon as we got together, he spent the first 6 months laying on my couch, refused to go look for a job, stealing money from me, stealing money from my kids, stealing gift cards, just whatever. And I finally got him a job with a friend of mine roofing. Well, it originally was hanging gutters, which he had no experience in. And he helped turn into roofing because his experience was in roofing. That's what he wanted to do. And it made more money, and that's great. Somehow it never made us more money, though. I don't know. I blame that on him, too. Getting him out of bed every day was a process. I had to drag him out. He didn't have a license. He didn't have a car. I had to go through hell to get his license reinstated. It cost me hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, really. I had to do all the paperwork. I had to find the class for him. I had to rent a car to drive him to the classes, spend hours standing outside. I was taking the classes. Like, it was so much work. His license had been suspended the whole decade that we were apart. He lost it right after he was with me, and I got it back for him. And I don't even know if he still has it, because he's got all this legal shit going on that I don't even know about. And I really don't want to, but I do know I keep getting letters about a turnpike fee, because it used to be on my Easy Pass. And other states don't pay, like some of them do and some don't. Anyway, and he's not on the Easy Pass anymore. The car's not even his name anymore. The license plate number's gone, but I keep getting these bills that run unpaid. So I bought him 4 cars during the time that we were together. I got him his license back, got him a cell phone, got him clothing, got him food. Every now and then he'd get a job for 6 months. He'd lose his job because he wouldn't get out of bed. He wouldn't go in. He'd be a dick at work, whatever. He was apparently relapsing back and forth behind my back the whole time. And no, I didn't know it. I had policies against smoking around my kids. I had policies against drinking around my kids. I quit smoking cigarettes because I didn't want them around my kids. I don't do drugs. I did for a while have pain medication after my brain surgery that was prescribed. When he stole too much, they took me off the list because I wasn't taking it. I was coming up clean. I did, get a medical marijuana card that I didn't use because smoking pot makes me dizzy. I am on my Sunosi for my narcolepsy, not fun, like 9-imidodrine chemical. I don't do anything. I don't drink. I got bariatric surgery a few years ago, and I couldn't drink. Like, 1 sip of alcohol would lay me on my ass. There was a very short period where when my middle kid was with me, and it was just us, when I was dating that other guy, he would go with his great-grandfather, and I would go with my guy, and we would drink. That was before I lost my stomach. It was before my brain surgery. It was before all that shit, so whatever. Anyway, point being, my life has grown up since we were 19. I pay my bills. I didn't miss a bill for 10 years. When he met me, I had perfect credit. I had a job with the state, which I really loved, which then I lost that one. Then I lost the job with the state that I got after my brain surgery. I didn't love so much, but at least it was a job. Because the brain surgery, I tried to go back too quickly to pay my bills, and that was not a good idea. I gotta pay for gas while I talk to you guys, then I have to go on the rain and pump it, which is gonna suck. My hair looks so good today. I did a whole new method with, not brushing. I think I'm gonna stick with it. I love my brushes, but sometimes my hair just doesn't. Whatever. Anyway, sorry, I'm on a whole other thing. At one point, we decided to have a child. I'd wanted a child for a really long time, and he finally was like, hey, you know what? You're right, let's have a baby. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that before you change your mind. And it wasn't like that, I shouldn't say it like that, but it was like, even if he wasn't there, I was going to have the baby. That would be, it wasn't meant to fix us. I never thought it would be, the cure to anything. I said I always wanted a baby. I found out after I got pregnant that he had been doing this thing where he, would go online and talk to sex bots. Not real people, scammers. Actual scammers. He's like, I know they're a scam. I know they're a scam. I know they're a dude in the basement, or they're a bot, or whatever, and I don't care, because they will tell me I'm perfect, and you will tell me I'm fucked up. And he's right. That's exactly what would have happened. Because having an emotional relationship requires 2 emotional beings, right? I listen to him on anything all day long and not judge him on his feelings, but when he wants to talk about how he should be able to treat me like shit, or he should be able to lay in bed, or he should be able to do this, or he should be allowed to have everything he wants, or, it was just too much all the time. God, it sucks out here. So the more he talked to bots, and the more he read comment sections on the internet, and the more he read TMZ and fake news, and the more he started to change. And already, you gotta remember, he grew up with neglect, and he grew up with abuse, and he never dealt with any of that trauma, which is a huge thing that I deal with. I study is the effects of not dealing with your trauma, right? And it will come back to get you if you don't. It will fix you if you don't fix it, is what we would say. As much as he loves my children, he was not, he would not get out of bed, except for work, and he'd only get out of bed for work if he felt important at his job. Paying the bills didn't make him feel important because they were in my name. He would, when he was lucid, tell me to take his paycheck and not give it to him and pay the bills with it. And then he would accuse me of financial abuse next time he was feeling bad. So on and so forth. A couple times he physically did something. There's a hole in our wall where he tried to punch me and broke his hand. There's a stove that got shattered. That was actually broke up. But whatever. Examples. One time I threw very cold coffee that had been in my cup for hours while he screamed at me at him. I admit to throwing the coffee. I spit on him a couple times too to make him shut up. Multiple hours after he started. Hours after he would start. And it would always start this way. Hey baby, what's wrong? If I said nothing, that was not okay. If I told him what was wrong, that was not okay. Him hurting me and me telling him was me assaulting him. Me being upset about something that had nothing to do with him and telling him was me assaulting him. Me saying, your feelings matter to me, but I'm upset about this right now, so can we deal with it because you did this, and then, like, you can tell me what you're upset about, was me assaulting him. Is that you're not happy? Was me assaulting him. Sorry about that. I lost connection for a second because I'm trying to turn my map back on, and it's probably going to happen again, so hold on. Sorry, I turned my car back on and then cut this, so you're going to see a little choppiness there for a minute. So as you can tell, like, basically, he had no interest in my feelings, my needs, my wants, anything. It was, I should love him and, like, respect him and support him and cherish him, which I did. And that. And always be happy and always be content and never have a complaint and never have a want or need or anything. And the longer that went on, the worse it got. And when my kids tried to tell him that he was out of line, he started screaming at them. Not listening to them. And saying, I love you, but you're blindly following your mom. Like, it's not blind following. They're thinking, feeling independent, intelligent beings, and you're being absolutely dismissive and disrespectful, acting like they don't know how to tell what they think or want or feel. The same way you're treating me. But it is what it is. That went on for years and years and years, and it got worse after years and years and years. That was a really bad pothole. Until I finally said I was done. He quit a job that was paying good money. It was getting us out of the hole. It was fixing things. And keep in mind, everything in my name. He quit the job because he thought he was going to get a better job. But then he didn't go to the better job because something happened. And there's always something happening. And they said, dude, we can't have a manager who doesn't show up. So that was that. He lost the better job. Couldn't go back to the other job. I don't even know if he tried. He said he tried. I don't know if he tried. He didn't like that job. That job didn't make him feel good. That job wasn't his area. He wasn't great at it. And I get that. And I would have been super proud of him if the job he got had worked out. But it wouldn't change the fact that he lied to me the whole time that he was looking for it. He had me drive him places when his car broke. Car that broke because it was someplace it never should have been. Instead of being honest. And that was the biggest issue in our marriage. He said he doesn't understand how to be honest. He doesn't understand how to be a partner, how to share. He doesn't understand the concepts of, like, consent. You know, ask him, like, you lied to me about all these things before we got married. And I say, why? And he goes, because you would have married me. Well, if you can blatantly tell me that to my face, don't you think I had a right to know? Like, isn't that consent right there? Anyway, the fucked up part is all this messed up stuff, and I still love the crap out of him. I still love the person that he was before the manosphere got a hold of him, before the self-obsessed, self-absorbed, narcissistic child in him got mad at me for not being superhuman, for having feelings and being flawed. And it's messing with my life because I'm not moving forward the way I should be. So I tried to start therapy, but it's really hard because as a mandated reporter, my therapist can't hear certain things. And I know that. And I'm mandated reporter trained, but I'm not a mandated reporter, which is nice because I don't have to report. Like, there's nothing going on that's dangerous here, first of all. I'd like to clarify that. I would not let my children be in danger. I would not let myself be in danger. I can't stop him. Like, there's certain things I haven't mentioned with his mental health out of respect for him, but, like, this is not all choice. Some of it really needs professional help. And if he doesn't go get the professional help, like, there's a cycle. And I can tell exactly where he is in the cycle because he texted me some crazy shit the other day. And when he's not at that point, and that point always comes when he starts doing well. Like, he was doing well. He sent a little bit of money, not what he owes me. I mean, he hadn't paid child support since he left last July. He hadn't paid $1 since he left last July. That's not completely true. A couple times he did, like twice I think, have his boss give me the paycheck when he still thought he was coming home. But it was so spread out and it was so much less than it was supposed to be. So much less than we needed. It was months after he quit his job. I skipped that part. He got a job working with his old boss, the one I first hooked him up with when we first got together, in West Virginia, and left. He was supposed to come home once a month for a week at a time. He was supposed to be sending me money. He was supposed to be making $300 a day and sending it home. I got one $700 payment, and I think I got one like $400 payment total. And then in October, I filed for child support, and that was the end of our marriage, as far as I can tell. And every time I've tried to even be near him since, he's angry and he's hurt and he's violent and he's scary. And we managed to have one really nice day together for my son's benefits, and he picked a fight at the end, because that's what he does. It's what he's always done. And what I do, unfortunately, is let what he does control me. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to move on. I want to live a life that I enjoy. I want to get up and say, yo, like, I have exciting things to do. And my yard's a mess. My house is a mess. And my life is a mess. And my kids are amazing, but they're kind of messes. And a lot of that is damage that he left behind. But a lot of it is damage that I haven't fixed, because whatever reason. And his judgments of me still hurt. And the things he says still matter. And that sucks. I gotta go pick up Chinese food. So welcome to my channel. Because if you stuck around this long, you're amazing. I'm gonna start finding a way through this. If it takes everything I have. Before I finish this job and get my degree and go into my master's program. Or doctorate program, which is what I really like to go into, not gonna lie. You can do both at once, but I need a doctorate to be where I want to be eventually. And I am that smart, just so you know. I'll love him till the day I die, and I'll be his wife as long as he legally lets me. And I want the best in the world for him. I'm mad that he didn't use this for a better purpose. He didn't mess all of our lives up. It should have been for good. But generally speaking, me and the boys are actually happier. Except for this one piece of my heart that's still so broken. It's time to start figuring that out, because I'm like, haven't been on a date yet. Not even like a bad Tinder date. And this is the longest stretch of my life that I've gone like solo. And I'm starting to forget like what it feels like to feel alive that way. Anyway, not without you know what I mean. If you're over 18, you know what I mean. Alright, I'm gonna go pick up my food. Y'all have a good day.